Hey everybody, Xander here. I'm going to do a really casual video this time talking about Luigi's Mansion 3. I know in the past I've done a little more intensive videos with lots of pictures and graphics and silly things, which I think speaks to my interest in this series. But with this really short trailer, I think at this time I'm just going to talk over it and analyze it, I guess, break it down for you. Just because I think it looks really interesting. I think there's a lot to talk about. I was on Nintendo News Report recently, and I talked briefly about it, and it was more just like kind of gushing. But with this one, I've got the material in front of me, and I'm really gonna break it down, kind of do like an real-time analysis, if you will, of what I'm seeing here. So I've got the trailer playing right now, the one that was introduced in the Direct today, and I will say my expectation going into this was I was kind of afraid when they said that they were going to spotlight Pokemon Sword and Shield and Luigi's Mansion 3, that they were going to kind of go all out, do a big blowout on it, and they didn't really do that. They did for the most part, it's only a minute long, a minute 12 seconds. And if that, these first 10 seconds are just kind of building up to it. So honestly, they just kind of show a few floors here. They've shown all of this already. I mean, not these specific areas, but okay, that's new. And the other area, the pirate area, is new. And the dance floor is new as well. But I thought that they were going to go all out and show you every floor, kind of like what they did with Mario Odyssey. They're going to show you all the kingdoms. And with Pokemon, they show you all of the Pokemon and things you can do in the game, and they introduce all the bad guys and then the not quote bad guys. So that was kind of my fear about what was going to happen today. And honestly, I don't really feel that after having watched it. I had told the NWR staff in preparation for today's Direct that I would rather them just kind of do a quick gloss over and then introduce something new, like a new mode. And I didn't think that was going to happen, mostly because like the Scare Scraper exists. Why would they do another new mode? But I was pleasantly surprised today when they showed the Scare Park. I forget what that was called, but it's essentially this party mode that seems to be made for local multiplayer only. They didn't really say anything about online. And it has all the Joy-Cons, so it just kind of makes sense. Like, this is kind of like a Nintendo Land, but just Luigi's Mansion stuff, which is funny because the Luigi's Mansion minigame in Nintendo Land was one of the best. So actually, let's go ahead and just jump to that right here. Scream Park. It's not Scare Park, it's Scream Park. Alright, so he's talking about it. We got some ghosts here, 4 Luigis, and we got 4 Gooigis. And so there's 2 teams. It looks like there's 4 players on each side, and you're each holding a mini Joy-Con. I wonder if you have to play with the tiny Joy-Con. I'm not really certain. He probably is saying something right now about it looks like it based on the little graphic on the side. Yeah, it's got like the little Joy-Cons hovering above their heads, so it looks like that's how you have to play. So it makes sense, like this would be a local only game. And I would imagine you can also do local multiplayer in the Scare Scraper, but also online, playing against other people. That's what they've kind of been weird about, and maybe I just haven't written it down and memorized it, or maybe they have answered this already, but with the Scare Scraper, you are playing with other people online, but are you also able to play with your friends? I would imagine so. I was expecting them to also make a highlight of the Nintendo Switch Online app or whatever. Everyone kind of pokes fun at that app. But it would kind of make sense, like, using voice chat to be able to talk with people. If this is a collaborative thing, the Scare Scraper has a time limit on it. Whereas this seems to be much more competitive. And I'm wondering here, like, if they're in a pool, all of these settings that they're playing in, like, this is a pool. They had, like, the graveyard earlier, which is fair standard for Luigi's Mansion, but then this is like straight out of the medieval floor. I wonder if all of these are based loosely on things that you can do on those floors. Like, we know he has the plunger, so he's like a little target minigame makes sense. But then you have something like this pool where you have to get in the flotation device and then use your Poltergust G00 or goo. I don't know what the proper term for that is, but I wonder if that's something you have to use. Like there's going to be like a lazy river in the pool, and it's got like a bunch of obstacles in the way, and you have to use your poltergeist to get around it. I wonder if that's like the mechanic that's in the single player, and then like for the sake of this multiplayer, you've got like this big open pool for everyone to play in. Which, if that's the case, that's a really cool idea, taking those elements from the single player and making them available in a party setting. I think that's very well done. And this looks like it's a coin collecting game. I think this looks really nice. Lighting's very pretty. It's not very scary by any means. Like this doesn't really strike me as like a scary house, but I don't think that's the intent. I think it's more of the right now you're collecting coins in a pool, whereas I have a scary area, and that's more so this, which is a lot more interesting. These look like little portals. This is very Ghostbusters, or actually, it kind of reminds me of Pac-Man World 3, if you've ever played that atrocity, where they've got like these giant portals that ghosts will come out of. So this looks like the Catching the Ghosts game. We got the coin collecting, and this is the target game. That's pretty much it on this multiplayer stuff. It looks like, are they all timed? Yeah, I think they're all timed. That's my only issue. Not a huge deal by any means, but I wish it wasn't timed. I guess I'm more okay with it if this is like a catch all the ghosts or collect all the coins. I guess that makes sense. But with the Scare Scraper, I'm kind of like, does it have to be a timed thing? I'd rather just kind of have fun with my friends. That's why I'm very grateful that Luigi exists in the single player. Yeah, okay, cool. We got the slam mechanics and everything. I wonder if this pink 6, I wonder if that's like a point system. Well, okay, so I'm assuming like up here is your teams, like Team Luigi, Team Gooigi. I'm wondering why there's a 6 here. Let's play this. 6? I don't know. That's really weird. Why is there a 6 there? You got the pink Luigi, the pink triangle, and a 6. What could that mean? I bet it's painfully obvious and someone's screaming at me right now. Looks like there's a gold ghost, probably worth more points if you can catch it for your team. Oh, there's 2 of them. Interesting. Well, anyway, that is the... Oh, there's Polterpup down here. I wonder if he's worth something too. So yeah, well, there's coins falling in the pool here. There's ghosts throwing things in. No, those aren't ghosts. That was Luigi, my bad. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the floors. One thing I read earlier is that the okay, so here we have. I'll go back to this in a second. This hotel is called the Last Resort, which I think is hilarious. That's a resort. It's a hotel, but it's the Last Resort, which is a great name. So we got like the different floors here. I think this is the best look at the actual hotel we've gotten, just because it kind of moves up and down. It gives you a little bit more dimension. This is obviously the medieval floor. Right here, this is like I think the opening of that greenhouse area. And then this, I want to say this is the side of a pyramid, maybe, and those are some columns, or maybe it's sand. So maybe that's kind of insinuating this is like that tomb suite area with all the pyramid stuff and the mummies. Up here, I really don't know. This looks like some sort of laboratory. It's rounded. There's metal plating. There's like some circles. So maybe this is like a mad scientist's lab or something. Couldn't really tell you. Up here, it's kind of hard to distinguish. Is this a floor? Is it a part of this floor? This is clearly the dance floor. It's the same kind of color scheme. It's all neon lights. It looks like there's some towers coming out of it. We've already got the medieval stuff down here, so I'm wondering if this is more like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of situation. And then up here, it kind of gets more regal. I'm wondering what all the green lights are for here. I got King Boo's statue at the top, so maybe that's something. I don't know. It looks like he's got like a glowy crown, so maybe that's the same crown, the Dark Moon crown from Dark Moon. Okay, so this is the Mezzanine. A mezzanine, if you don't know, well, I guess I don't even know. We had one at our church. We always called it. It was just the second floor of the building, where it just kind of overlooked the main entrance of the lobby. But this looks like it's got like a dining room in it. So I'm wondering what the context of this is here. Got like a big bunch of fruit, or no, yeah, fruit, and then a big cake of some sort. This is all stuff that we've seen in the trailer. And then here we get to Castle MacFrights. This is Sir MacFright, I believe that's his name. He's the character ghost or the portrait ghost, whatever, of this floor, and he's got the elevator key. He was in the E3 demo, so it's nothing really new here, but this is a new, I think, hallway that wasn't shown in the demo. And I wonder if this right here, this suit of armor that kind of looks like the one that he wears in the boss fight, is kind of your context clue of actually how to beat him in the boss fight. I imagine this is one of the first areas in the game, because it was like one of the first areas shown, and it was at the very bottom of the hotel. I kind of like this little insignia down here. I know it's a small detail, but it just kind of means a little bit to kind of give this a little bit more of a professional feel of a building. It's not just a place. It's like, no, this is all a themed area. Okay, this is the Garden Suites. It's kind of nice to have a name to this floor. This was shown at Gamescom and PAX, and I've been working on a video for it, which I'll get to eventually, but this is all plants. This is the same room we've seen. This is the saw. You can use that to turn it on. And then here we get to the Tomb Suites, and my first thought was, oh wow, cool, like an Egyptian setting. It was going to be like pyramids and mummies and stuff. And then I kind of thought, well, they did kind of do that in the old Clockworks. And then I also thought in the Garden Suites, they kind of did that with the Haunted Towers as well in Dark Moon. But I will say, though, that the idea of turning this like hotel room with a bedroom, the bedding, the sofa, the lounge area, it's a suite, so it's where someone would stay. Same thing with this Egyptian area. Kind of giving it those themes, I think, is a lot more important to me to maintain that theming of, hey, this is a hotel, rather than just having a floor that is a pyramid. Because then it's kind of like what you're doing with Dark Moon. It's like, why even have a hotel at that point? You're just doing area to area. But having a little bit of a theme here, I think that really speaks volumes of how much care is put into this. That means a lot to me. I'm liking all the snakes. It seems that snakes are going to be a big thing in this game. They were shown in the Gamescom footage of the Garden Suites. I don't think it's shown any here, but there's sometimes snakes crawling around and they'll bite Luigi, which is a little unsettling. But it seems to be that snakes are probably going to become a bigger threat. And maybe they're introduced in the Garden Suite, but they're probably going to be a lot bigger in the Tomb Suite. And it looks like the portrait ghost kind of mimics that snake shape. It could just be the styling of it. Yeah, there's snakes everywhere, on the door, on the handle, all over this thing. Alright, so this shot right here I really like. It's very well lit, it's very interesting. It kind of feels like it's not even in a building at first, but you look back here in the background, you see the arches, and they're shown again in a different room of a different floor, but it does kind of pull you back into, oh no, this is just an area. It feels very much like an attraction. And one of the things I want to say, a lot of people have been pointing out that they're not as big of a fan of the art style of this game. I think it's kind of just become a thing that people haven't really talked about. At least I didn't ever see this conversation coming up when Dark Moon was first released. But people don't really care for the art style that Dark Moon has taken. And I'll be honest, I kind of was one of these people, but I never really was vocal about it. I was just kind of like, that's just the art style they went with on the 3DS version. And I just kind of chalked it up to like, it's the 3DS, it's not the GameCube. And there needs to be some differentiators, and also next level games made it, so they went with a different art direction here. But it looks like they have obviously brought it back. They are the same people who are making this game. And I honestly, it's kind of, I think it's winning me over. My gut reaction is like, this doesn't scream Luigi's Mansion to me. This actually screams Paper Mario, of all things, just because it's got a lot of folds here. It looks like this could be constructed out of something. There's a lot of not basic geometry, but it just looks like this was folded in, I'm seeing these different folds here. It just looks like something that's a paper aesthetic, so I could see Paper Mario existing here. which is why I'm not like, oh no, I hate the art style. I think it looks fine. It just does not scream Luigi's Mansion to me. And that's probably because, I grew up on the first one, diehard fan on that. But I'm still open-minded about it. I'm liking it. Here we got a lot of sand here. Again, more and more snakes. What is this guy up here? Is that a spider? Could be a spider. Yeah, there's another one over here. Spider. So yeah, again, these mummies, they are the same from Dark Moon. I believe you had to just, I don't know if you had to flash them to stun them and then suck the bandages off them, but they're actually just like a ghost, like a generic, I think they were green meanies from Dark Moon. But they could just be whatever the blue ghosts are here. And then these, like, sarcophagus, I guess. They're not really that shaped like that, but I don't know what else to call them. They've got the snake heads on them. It looks like, I think that's what this guy is right here. They look the same. It looks like Luigi would throw his plunger on the breastplate here and then yank it off, just kind of like in the Medieval 4. And that's what will reveal these mummies. And then this might be like a challenge room. You first walk in, there's an animation where Luigi freaks out because he gets stuck in here and he's got to get all the ghosts, capture them all before the room fills up completely with sand. I love Luigi using that slam mechanic on the sand and then it pushing it down. Like, do you see that tidal wave right here? That is awesome. That is really cool. Here we've got Indiana Luigi and his quest for the lost elevator button. This is very cool. In the Gamescom footage, there was a sequence where he was climbing some staircases, and then these like giant, I think they were durians or pineapples or something. They were rolling down the stairs trying to knock him over. But this is even a worse version of that. This giant boulder. I'm trying to look around the room here. Again, snakes are everywhere. That is definitely the theme of this whole area. There was one other thing I noticed in the footage I forgot to mention. Where is it? It was in that room with the big pyramid. Yeah, okay, so here, these statues, let me see if I can get a better look at this. So this is clearly the portrait ghost, I guess, of the area. I don't think they're going to have this basic model, actually, the fairly detailed model with all this like garb and everything around it. I think it's probably some sort of a Cleopatra, maybe King Tut inspired character with a staff and then the headdress, very narrow face, and it's mimicked on both sides. And then later in the footage, you also see on the side, right here, the same thing. I think that looks a little more feminine here. It could be more of a Cleopatra type, but it's carrying the raw staff, I believe that's what that's called. And one more time. Right here before the big boulder here. Yeah, right here. You can see the eyes glowing. This statue is repeated several times. I think that's probably going to be the character ghost of this floor, which is very cool. Kind of reminds me of Madame Clairvoyant, the fortune teller from the original Luigi's Mansion. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of a psychic element happening here. They could get into like, I don't know, Egyptian mythology. That could be kind of fun. Or they could just lean towards a giant snake. And then next we have the dance hall. It's not as exciting of a name. It's just the dance hall, but I think it's serviceable. This, again, also does not scream Luigi's Mansion to me. It's very different. And I think that's just kind of the tone of where Next Level Games has taken the series. It's not this like gloomy gothic horror or whatever that was showing off what the GameCube could do. This is more of just a comedy approach with some really cool animation. I think it's winning me over. I think the element of me has had to kind of like let go of just what the desire is for the original and just kind of accept like, hey, that's where this is going. I'm just happy that the series is healthy. I think that the gameplay was so unique in the original that it had to go on, and I love how Next Level Games is experimenting with it and adding new things like that slam mechanic and then the dark light device. But anyway, let's look through here a little bit more. Speaking of that flash mechanic, you could work on here. ATM, nothing new. I'm looking for anything else. This is just a very bright scene. I don't think Ghost would be fine with this area, which is probably why I love this. They all have these very awesome hip-hop outfits on. Normally I'm kind of like, oh, why are you dressing the basic ghosts up? It makes them look kind of silly. I like I don't know, that seems kind of hypocritical for me to say now that I'm saying it out loud, because I love designs like this portrait ghost up here, this huge afro concealing the eyes, these awesome earrings, and then the entire face is just the mouth. I love that. And then you can see some of the body here. It's like the DJ's working on the sound system. Really like that. But when they showed like the basic I keep calling them the minions, the basic ghosts dressed up as like the maids, not as big of a fan of that. Excuse me, I'm stumbling over my words. But here, I think it's hilarious. I love that they're dressed up as this basic this hip hop crew, and Luigi's over here. He's doing the same thing. They each have the same animations. Or actually, I don't think it's the same animations, but they're both dancing on this dance floor. And so, like, part of me is like, well, they're ghosts. Of course, they'd have to hide all of their body, otherwise they wouldn't be able to get around. Because I think light hurts them, right? So that's pretty funny. Very, very cool. I'm wondering what the gimmick is here. How do you capture this ghost? Like, what is the puzzle? Is it just kind of follow the dance moves? Is it like its own mini game? It almost looks like you could interact with these stereos in the background. There's 6 of them, or I guess the ones on the top. I don't know. That's interesting. And then over here we've got the Spectral Catch. I think this is the last big area that they show off. This is so brisk. I'm actually kind of impressed I'm talking this long about it. This is a pretty big room, it looks like. You can start over here and then walk your way down and kind of go either way. To be honest though, even though it's a big room, there doesn't seem to be a lot going on. It's just, in terms of interaction, it looks like it's just a lot of awesome set pieces. One thing I've noticed with this game is that they love to fill up the rooms with as many models as they possibly can, which I think is pretty cool. It adds to the fun flavor of Luigi's Mansion. I'm wondering if these waterfalls will open up and you can go in here. And like I said earlier with the Egyptian setting, I love how this is a restaurant. It's not just a pirate floor, it's a restaurant that is themed like a pirate floor. It's like an actual show. And it ties in like that this whole hotel, the last resort, is a place where attractions live. And I think that is a very fun way to tie in like what a floor could be, because like there is an element of, I want each floor to have some sort of consistency, but also I don't want them to be the same thing over and over. So to pick a theme, like a pirate theme, and then have to figure out a way to, I guess, reverse engineer, how would you turn that into some sort of hotel-inspired theme, making it like an actual show, which, you know, these exist in real life. You can go to them, you can eat the food with your bare hands and have a great time. I just think it's a really fun idea. So really cool lighting. This is probably I want to say this is probably my favorite shot in the whole thing, maybe next to the Egyptian pyramid shot that I showed off earlier. I love the big skull here in the background. You can see the ship and the eye Luigi's got over here. Yeah, a good close-up of Luigi. This looks like the same area that we're about to look at. It looks like it's closer to the skull. I think this is the ship. We've got a ship here. This is the same ghost as a mermaid, but it's all wooden and it's holding the sword. And then over here you can see the wooden, I don't know if it's wooden, but like this is the side of the room. And it looks very similar to the Egyptian room with the pyramid. I got the big ship coming in here, and then I went a little fast there. So this is on top of that ship, it looks like. It's got the same water and then some of the same decorative features as that ship. At first I was like, what? There's a shark? But there's precedent for this. You know, they've had the ghost dogs, Spooky and the Polter Pup. So this is kind of neat. At first I was like, is it just a shark? But it might very well be the character ghost of this floor that has the elevator piece, because the narrator here kind of implies that this is the boss, and it does take hold of part of the ship. It's funny that it's a shark with an eye patch that also becomes a wooden boss character with an eye patch here, so that's very fun. But yeah, it has like that portrait ghost-esque long tail with some features on it. It's got a golden tooth. I'm wondering if like the elevator button on this floor is like one of his accessories or if it's in the pirate treasure. Very interested to see how this turns out. And I'm wondering if this is a boss that is bigger than just a character ghost boss. I wonder if this is something that's actually like one of your Chaunceys or your Bogmires or your Possessor Ghosts from Dark Moon. I'm wondering if that's kind of the level of what this character is here. So that will be interesting to see. It seems like it's taking on the Possessor approach of taking hold of something, which, okay, that's fine. I will reserve my judgment on that because there were things about that I didn't really care for in Dark Moon, but I don't think automatically possessing something makes it a bad thing. I think that they could probably do some really cool stuff with this, so we'll see. Yeah, and that's it. That is Luigi's Mansion 3, guys. I probably talked your ear off. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know I kind of talk a mile a minute, but I'm really interested in this game. I'm excited with this. I loved the amount of footage that we got and this new mode as well. I think that it's going to be a pretty good time. Let me know what you think. What did I miss? What is it that you're thinking about the game? Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Are you going to pick it up? What about this looks intriguing to you? Do you like this new mode? Do you like those new floors? Let me know. I like conversing with you all. I've done a few of these videos now, and I've had some interesting conversations in the comments, so please let me know. And if you want to find more Nintendo coverage, you can find us at NintendoWorldReport.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can bet that I will keep making Luigi's Mansion 3 videos because I am excited for this game, and I cannot wait for October 31st. So y'all have a good one, and take care.